The students suddenly found out that the teacher in front of them was not a living person, because just a minute ago they found out that the teacher had died in a car accident in the afternoon. So, who exactly is the man on the podium? And he took out a small mirror with him and found out that the teacher had no shadow. They realized at the time that the man in front of them might be a ghost. This is the teacher in front of the blackboard. He nodded his head and looked at the students under him. And the students were also scared to death, and suddenly the classroom lights began to flash. At the moment of this mutual case, Ma Yang, who was on the other side, saw the teacher's real name and scared him out of the classroom. The rest of the people didn't dare to stay and packed their bags and prepared to leave, but as soon as they got to the door of the classroom, the teacher called them. "Where do you want to go?" "It's already night, sir." Seeing that the teacher did not respond for a long time, Ming-Er turned his courage too much, but found that the teacher on the stage had gone missing, followed by a strong pressure to drive the person away. He slowly raised his head, only to see that the teacher was floating in the air. Although this place is not a place to stay, they tried their best to escape without thinking about it. The teacher behind them called Han Sheng Bujue Yu who knew that this would be the most wrong decision they had made. Ma Ya, who ran to the school gate in advance, told Lun Wei about what had happened just now. The other few people were also embarrassed, but looking at the few people who were not sure, Lun Wei firmly believed that the ghost master said that it was a hopeless talk. The bodies of the 8 teachers are now well placed at home, but when they came to the guard room, the crowd was already full here, and they found out that the 8 teachers had died because of the toy of their daughter, and her daughter Nisha had committed suicide 3 years ago. The rumor in the school was that the 8 teachers were strict, so the daughter was unwilling to choose her own life. Since then, the teaching style of the 8 teachers has become more and more spiritual, and she has become a killer teacher who makes people afraid of death in the school. In order to save her daughter, she suffered a leg injury due to an accident, so she used to be the head of the school. However, the head of the school, who replied to the teacher that day, also made countless students feel embarrassed. However, Maya did not pass the psychological course taught by her. This is the first mistake of the 8 teachers in their 20-year teaching career, so they called them to the office and arranged to give them lessons at 7 o'clock every afternoon. However, on the first day of the lesson, the 8 teachers were not happy, and there was a video at the beginning of the video. The 8 teachers' indescribable rumors spread in the school, and the teaching director, Gita, specifically ordered them to put all their energy into the middle school class so that they would not think that he would become a ghost after death because of the harsh teaching of the 8 teachers. But on this night, Gita's teacher soon encountered something strange. She saw the body of the 8 teachers on the dining table. Ha 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 ha. In intense fear, he accidentally ran into a tree branch next to him, and he was knocked out on the spot. But he was not the only one who was killed by Buck. On this day, Maya saw the ghost of Mr. Buck again in the classroom, and she ran downstairs when she was scared. Maya was rolling down the stairs. A huge sound caused the attention of other companions. Maya, who was already mentally sensitive, was even more anxious at the moment. After returning to the dormitory, she took the medicine to treat depression. Pumpkin is under pressure by the family. Plus a series of recent encounters let Maya's mental illness collapse. This is when she suddenly heard a familiar roll sound from outside the door. Open the door and the corridor is empty. The next day, Maya attended a prayer meeting organized by the school psychology club, then let her see the role of the 8 teachers again. After the prayer, she mentioned that maybe they shouldn't leave the classroom that night. The teacher was sitting for 2 hours. Maybe nothing will happen. After all, the rumor that Nisha left the room because she didn't finish her homework, she chose to commit suicide after being punished severely by the 8 teachers. In the evening, Maya surfaced the news of Nisha's death on the internet. This was also confirmed by the neighbors. Nisha has never had a normal childhood since she was a child. At this moment, Maya suddenly realized, could it be that the suicide of her daughter is a mystery that the 8 teachers could not solve? At the same time, Ming-Er and Fatah's room also began to be full of strange things. The last second, Ming-Er was still standing on the corner of the wall. The next second, the door of the room was closed by a woman. Ming-Er also did not see the shadow, and after the creation, there was the reason for the horror. On the other side, Ming-Er's book in the room began to fly towards him. Every moment, the scene was a mess. He hurriedly picked up his cell phone on the ground, and Maya's situation was even more dangerous. She was running around in the dormitory, but how could she not get rid of the 8 teachers? She was always around Maya. The poor Maya became the first person to be killed, and what is even more disgusting is that her death room is exactly the same as that of Nisha. Xiao Mei cried and said goodbye to her good sisters until she entered her room to see the medicine bottle. They found that Maya had been restraining her emotions. She was full of pressure when she saw Maya on the table. They also believed that what she saw was not an illusion. Xiao Mei believed that Maya could not kill herself. Perhaps there was a solution to the problem in the house of Mr. Barker, so they sneaked into her house. In a diary, Barker wrote about his remorse for his daughter. He can also see his love for his daughter in the language. Then he found Nisha's toy bear. At the same time, a woman's figure appeared behind Fatah in the living room. The figure looked very similar to Xiao Mei, but the voice was extremely cold. A cold instantly woke up. Fatah slowly walked forward. I don't want to be like that, man. I'm a man. Oh my God. I'm sorry. That wasn't even... When Fatah ran out of the house, Zheng Qiao ran into the president of the school psychology club, and he knew from his mouth that the guitar teacher's husband had passed away, so he took medicine to stop the disease a few days after the accident, and it may have been the sudden death of Buck that caused his illness. And Maya is the same, suffering from the huge pressure from her parents, so she doesn't think their accident has anything to do with Mr. Buck. But this point of view obviously cannot convince Xiao Mei and them. Maybe it's just going back to the classroom that night, and the truth will come out. So they are brave again, and decide that once they step into the classroom, they can't leave.